my son. He's eating Cheerios. So I'm just gonna start it off that way. I have wanted to do this video since before he was born, right when we found out actually about his CCAM and everything. But it is now September 10th, my husband's birthday, 2021. And we're just now talking about it. Well, making the video. Okay, so I have my little notes. So, finding out. We found out on April 17th at my 20-week anatomy scan that kept getting pushed back. So I was actually 23 weeks and he was weighing 1 pound, 3 ounces. This appointment was only supposed to take, I forget what they told me, like an hour. So like they told me it was going to be a long appointment because they check everything. It ended up being 2+ hours. And like, I was like falling asleep on the table at this point. But I started getting worried when the tech left the room, came back, said, okay, the doctor wants me to get a couple more scans of something that he sees. I was like, okay. Thinking nothing of it. She takes more. She takes more scans. And don't know. Come here. Come here. No. Look at your butt. Clean up the Cheerios on the floor. So at this point, beginning of COVID, kind of, sort of, visitation, you can't have anyone with you. So my husband was waiting in the car. So when things started getting weird, and I was like, okay, something's wrong. And I was like, great. I FaceTimed him. I was like, something's wrong. They're acting weird. They left me. They said, we'll be right back. And so they took me into a conference room. They let me stay on FaceTime with Skylar. Got on the phone with the doctor. Sorry if you can hear traffic. I'm right by my front door for lighting. And ended up telling me about a CCAM, which is short for congenital cystic abnormality malformation. It is essentially caused by an overgrowth of abnormal lung tissue that can form fluid-filled cysts. Yeah. The cysts prevent the tissue from functioning as normal lung tissue. Fetal lungs and heart can be affected by this abnormal lung tissue mass. If it continues to grow, there's a chance that it might compress blood vessels, possibly leading to heart failure and fetal high drops. CCAM can also shrink or disappear during the 3rd trimester of pregnancy. His did not shrink. I will get to that later. But at this point, it was measuring 0.57. I will put, that was a CRV. I'll put more information over here. But his heart was shifted already to the left, to this. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We were referred to 2 different hospitals because my hospital was not the best. We were referred to Hershey, PA, and Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. I had a friend whose daughter was already at CHOP, and she's already dealt with them, and I asked them, I asked her what she thought of it, and she said CHOP would be the better option. Granted, it's further away from home, but they're the best. So that's what we went with. So then on May 8th, which I was 26 weeks at the time, I had my first CHOP appointment. They went, they measured everything to see how everything was. The CCAM was measuring 3 by 2.8 by 3.4 centimeters. The volume was 14.9 milliliters and a CRV of 0.62. So it was growing. The largest cyst measured 0.8 by 0.7 by 0.7 centimeters with a volume of 0.2. Sorry. You felt mine probably. But my last scan at Chambersburg was on June 3rd when I was 29 weeks, 5 days. This is when Chambersburg like completely No. Come here, baby. Come here. You watch the cars. Okay. Sorry if it completely moved. Colson messed with the camera. But scan number 2 was at maternal fetal medicine here in my hometown. It was on June 3rd. I was 29 weeks, 5 days. He was weighing 3 pounds, 8 ounces. His CCAM went to a CRV of 0.76 now, measuring 3.77 by 4.08 by 2.64 centimeters. And this was my last appointment here in my hometown. They completely dropped me. Yeah, of all treatment. They just dropped me. I was completely in the hands of CHOP now, which is 3 hours from my hometown. It was great. Okay. Second CHOP appointment was on June 15th, right after my birthday. I was 31 weeks, 6 days. He was measuring 4 pounds, 2 ounces. His CCAM went to a CRV of 70 now, so it did decrease from 0.76 to 0.70 now, with a volume of 19.8. It was measuring 3.65 by 2.76 by 3.88. And then I started having like every other week appointments at this point because they wanted to really monitor it because they knew it was growing. Yes, it did shrink a little, but it was still growing. So my third one, I don't have much information from this. If I find any, I'll put it here, but I only have that it was on June 29th and I was 33 weeks, 3 days. So my very last CHOP appointment, he has more, that'll be in another video, was on July 13th, 2020. I was 35 weeks, 3 days. He was weighing 6 pounds, 7 ounces. And this appointment was supposed to be our last big appointment where we would measure everything and from there go over my birth plan, schedule an induction date. Because of how far I lived away, I would be induced, and possibly plan for surgery right when he was born. At this moment, the CCAM was measuring 2.76 by 2.68 by 3.93. Sorry, I keep looking down. But the volume was 15.2 and the CRV of 0.49. So during the day before this was a Sunday. I was miserable. At this point, I was only working half shifts, if that. I didn't even make it to 3 hours that day. Do you mind? I was feeling that bad. My back hurt so much. This was my first pregnancy. I had no idea what any labor symptoms were, what I was supposed to feel, anything. I still to this day don't exactly know what a contraction is. So once we got to like the drive up there, it was horrible. My stomach hurt the whole time. I drove 3/4 of the way, and then my husband drove the rest. But once we got there, it was towards the end of the appointment. It was very rushed. It wasn't, not completely, sir. But the one doctor this was the only doctor I ever had trouble with in CHOP. But she rushed me. She did not seem to care. She just wanted to be over and done with my appointment. She said, okay, how does the state sound? Good, we're good to go. Okay, you'd come here, you'd do this, you'd do that, done. And then she walked out. So I looked at the other, I believe it, I'm not sure which, she might have been a nurse, I'm not entirely sure. But I said, I haven't been feeling very well today, and I've, like, to ease my mind, could you check me? So she checked me, and I was 3 centimeters dilated. And I was not gonna go home. So 35 weeks, 3 days, 3 centimeters dilated, 3 hours away from home. What was only supposed to be a day trip turned into a week. 2 weeks, I believe. So I was admitted, I was monitored, we stayed overnight, and there was no progress. So the next day we were referred to the Ronald McDonald House to stay so we could just relax and wait. We ended up staying there for 2 nights, and then on the last day I was miserable. My stomach was hurting so bad, and I was trying to time what I thought were contractions, but like honest, I still don't know what a contraction is. So we ended up calling, went to the hospital, got admitted, was monitored. I was just out of 4. So I had progressed a little, but not really that much. Like I was pretty, like, great. My stomach. We only fell on our butt. We're okay. You're okay. Okay. You okay? You okay? It's your dinosaur. Okay. So we got admitted. I was out of 4. When nighttime started rolling around, they gave me a ball. I started bouncing on it, which I didn't know those had sand at the bottom of it. I don't know why that surprised me so much. So I started bouncing the ball. I kept walking around. I did not want to sit down because I thought I needed to progress. Like, I was getting nowhere. So I was able to sleep for a little bit. And then around 2 a.m., I was out of 5. And they started talking about Pitocin, which scared me because I know that gets very rapid, very fast, very quickly, and I honestly wanted no part about it. I thought I could do it myself, but around 3 a.m. I decided to get an epidural so I could relax. And I honestly wasn't feeling that much pain, but I knew I wanted the epidural because I could not. I could not. So at 3 a.m. I got the epidural. I was able to sleep till 6 when they decided to break my water. She came in, she put on gloves to check me, and then she had this long, like, it essentially is like this long, and it's a sewing needle. Like, that's what it looked like to me. She checked me, and my water broke. Thank God. I didn't want that thing going in me. I didn't understand why the stick had to be this long, but I didn't want that in me. So my water broke when she right when she checked me, and I was at a 6. So around 9 a.m. they gave me the peanut ball. I don't know if it was just my body saying, okay, let's get into gear, or the peanut ball, but I associate it with the peanut ball, so therefore I don't want the peanut ball ever again. No, because around, I was at a 6 at 9 a.m. At 10, they said I was ready to push. It's it was so much pressure. So they were like, okay, we gotta wait for the doctor again, which is the most horrible thing, that you have to wait for the doctor when you're already feeling so much pressure. I felt like I had to poop so bad. It hurt. I'd imagine the epidural worked, but not that much. It was not good. It was not a fun time. So the doctor came in around what seemed like forever, but it was only 5 minutes later, and I started doing practice pushes, and the practice pushing plus actual pushing only added up to an hour. He was born at 11:14 a.m. Little Cousin Michael Souders with a Cheerio on his butt. He weighed 7 pounds, 12 ounces. Skylar cut the cord. I only got to hold him for a minute. And then he was taken through this little window into their little special unit where they essentially, it's like a mini NICU. And they take care of him. So I did not have the time after my birth with my baby, which I know many mothers go through, and I don't know anything else other than push him out, you see him, and then he's taken for a couple hours. That's all I know, but it's okay. So he stayed in the NICU for, I should have had this written down. I'm going to my calendar. Okay, July. You were born on the 17th, and he stayed in the NICU for 10 days. We came home on the 27th. And it was because you wouldn't eat. Not because of his CCAM, but because you wouldn't eat. He was born with no breathing problems. He was on oxygen once during one of the nights, which I didn't get a call. I didn't get an update. Nothing. They just said, oh yeah, he had a little spell last night. We had to have him on oxygen for a little bit. Okay, and also mind you, I'm not CHOP. I love them. Couple little things. There's this little angel cam where you can look at your baby on the NICU when you're not there. Love that. Love that feature. So one morning, I would wake up every 2 to 3 hours to pump. And 1 hour I woke up, he was there, he was fine, he's all swaddled, looking all cute. And then the next time I wake up to pump, he has a feeding tube in. My heart dropped, and this is the first time I cried after birth. Because my little baby had a feeding tube, and I was not informed, and I was very scared. Anyway, that was the beginning of Colson's little journey when we found out about his CCAM. In the next video, I'm going to talk about his surgery, recovery, pre-appointments leading up to surgery, and then recovery, and then where we are now. But for a little glimpse, we are a thriving little 1-year-old toddler It gets into everything. And he's perfectly okay now. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We are gonna go eat dinner. Bye. Can you say bye? Say bye-bye. Say bye. Look. Say bye. I'm not ending it till you do it. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Come on. Say bye-bye. There we go. Bye-bye.